Peace, Moody.
Me and extra guy. You wanna go? Nah, thanks. Why not? Looks like baseball. Oh yeah, but what? So my glove. It's supposed see no, I can't go. Thanks though. It's okay. I got an extra one. Come on, let's go. Mom! We're gonna play some ball! Back into the wild! What the? And I keep on stuck. Really? Oh,
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on, Doc? What's going on, everybody? My bad, my bad. I'm just putting out the link. I'm also thinking about putting out to everybody in the Discord as well, Doc. And it's just to continue to show them what's coming about, because I know that you will be here soon every single week. And just giving them the opportunity, because I know some people may hear therapists or hear certain things and shy away from it. So just to give them that opportunity, because I know a lot of people that were free really wanted to get on board again. However, give me a second while I put it out there as well. Is that okay with you? Hold on, I gotta turn up my speaker. All right, I think it's up now. I don't know why my phone is. It's probably this new phone. I could hear you. It's just very muffled. Give me 1 second. I'm trying to turn up my speaker. All right, say something
Mine is
again.
loud.
Oh,
Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yeah, I can hear you
Okay.
now. I
Okay.
don't know. It could have been my end.
No, I had to switch my computer because my other one, the speaker was acting crazy on it, and so I had to sync this Bluetooth with this one, so I don't think it actually synced all the way.
Gotcha. All right, awesome.
So yes, no, I'm totally okay. I heard what you were saying, so I'm very okay.
All right, cool. All right, so let me pause it. I'm just out and about right now. However, do your thing, and I'm gonna just put it out. You're good. I'm gonna just mute myself. I'm in the background.
Okay. So I guess we'll give everyone still like another 3 minutes to get in that's in, or Calvin, I will ask, do you think everyone that's here is who wants to be here right now?
Yep, absolutely. And as well, they'll start coming in as they come in. It depends on their availability.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all that it is. But some people will end up coming in as they see their time fit.
Okay. So if I can get everyone to just say something like hello that is here. So then in the next
You have a paper.
I'm
Hey, how you
sorry.
doing?
Okay. I do want to ask anyone that was here with the last one. Is anybody here that was here from the last one?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. I see London. Okay. I'm just gonna give about 2 more minutes for people to get in. In the meantime, while we waiting on like for 2 more minutes. Okay, first time here, April. Nice to meet you, April. I want to ask, okay, nice to meet you, Josh. Is Josh okay, or do you prefer Joshua? Okay, I want to ask those who were here last time, what was your greatest takeaway you can talk about for the people that wasn't here on the last one? You can actually talk about what was your greatest takeaway.
Hi, Doc.
Hi.
I think for me, my greatest takeaway was just how you got my mindset without me even having to explicitly express it to you. You straight away spotted how I guess my emotions and my own personal experience play into my decision making at that moment. Because my thing is that I would rather lose the money than be wrong. And and you were speaking about perfection, it being like the perfectionist within me, and that's the first time we had spoken, and I didn't even mention that, but that's what you was able to pick up, and for me that was profound, and that really um yeah, it intrigued me further because I always known that psychology is a big side of things, but having that physical contact with someone within this arena, yeah, I was like, this will really be a good thing. So I was keen to get back in today.
Okay, good, good. Anyone else?
She pretty much nailed it. It's about the same thing here.
Okay, okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on today. I do want to open up and ask anyone, is there any specific question they want to ask me in relationship to their emotional connection with trading?
What if you're more like emotionless, like you really don't have a lot of emotions? Not just with trading, but I'm like that all the way around.
Okay, so give me an example.
Well, I was prior military and a team leader, so I learned pretty quick of how not to throw emotions one way or the other. It was mainly about just making decisions and going with it.
Okay, so being in the military, one thing about the military they do is to dehumanize you so that you can be available for whatever task at hand you need to be able to do. But unfortunately, what we understand in the realm of psychology is that even though we can force a person to compartmentalize them on a conscious level, unconsciously the body doesn't forget. And so the body will still try to respond in an emotional way. So when we start saying, like, hey, I don't feel like I'm trading in an emotional way, I will challenge and say, what do you actually think you're doing that's stopping you from getting the success that you need?
My biggest issue is stopping when I'm up. I try to keep going, try to make more. In reality, knowing that I should have stopped.
Okay, so what's the consequence if you lose? What do you tell yourself if I lose, what's my consequence?
Starting over.
And are we able to start over?
Yes.
Okay, and then how do we start over?
If it's with futures, I just open up another eval and go again. I usually try to back test and see what I did wrong. And the majority of the time, it's trying to rush the trade.
So I will ask you, how much knowledge do you actually understand about what you're doing?
No, I don't know. That's a good question. I've been doing this for a little over a year. Uh, but I mean, I'm still, very green with it. And I'm
Okay.
in Moody's coaching class also. So that's been a big help.
Okay. So London, I'm going to pick on you this time. What did you learn about what you
Okay,
hear and who's speaking? So I make sure I'm addressing you correctly, sir.
sorry.
The person that was asking the question before I want you to answer London. Who was
Oh,
Oh,
speaking
okay.
I'm
prior to you?
Josh.
Josh? Okay. Josh,
I'm
I'm
the
gonna
other
have,
Josh.
oh, yeah, okay. London, I'm gonna have you explain to Josh what on the last time we all had this opening that you learned about trading and not able to stop.
And sorry, and what was the last part?
Not able to stop.
Oh gosh. Not being able to stop. I think for me, it was just for me personally, I find that it's a lot of greed. So like I can go into the trade with one like mindset and be like, okay, I'm only gonna take out say 20%, 30%. Once it hits that, get out. And sometimes it can get to that, and then I'm like, oh, but it looks like it's going further, and then it will turn around, and then I'll be holding and hoping because it sometimes has then reversed on me. And instead of me accepting that it's reversed and taking the loss, it's like I'd rather just keep on holding and hoping when eventually I'm gonna have to take the loss anyway, and the loss is gonna be bigger. So it's yeah, that's why for me it was clear that I this thing of being wrong is bigger than I actually realized.
So Josh, I will ask you, does what London just explained, does that relate to anything that you're experiencing?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense.
Okay, how so?
Because I feel like a lot of times I'm in the same boat, you know.
Yeah. I think this is why these sessions are very important, because that's what's going to help us to untrip ourselves in these areas. Because I think Moody was saying it the other day on our one-to-one, and he was just like, we can say all the right things, we know all the right things, but it's in that moment that we do we always execute it, you know?
Absolutely. So what was the emotion that you threw out there, London, that you have an issue with?
The of being wrong. I don't like being wrong.
So Josh, what's the emotion you think you may have?
Oh, it's pretty much the same thing. I always feel like I got to be in control and I don't like to be wrong.
Yeah.
So remember you led with and you said, hey, when you don't have emotions.
Yeah, I mean, like when I lose, I don't really get mad or anything like that. And when I do win, I've had some payouts. I really look at it as the same. Like I'm not excited or not. I'm just always one way. If that makes sense.
It
Uh,
does.
I think it's mainly because, like, I was with a Ranger bat with the 75th Rangers and the 101st, so a lot of the things that we did or worked or whatever, we stayed one way or the other. It was hard to show emotion, so I guess that's kind of my route.
Which is fair, which is when you're, like I was saying, when you're in the moment, the body won't ignore what is being asked to do. And your body is going to unconsciously pull from an emotion. Rather you try to suppress that emotion, eradicate or destroy it, that to say it doesn't exist, the body keeps score constantly. So it's going to remember where to pull from its reservoir. So it's going to pull from the emotional bank, rather you want it to or not. So when you are trading, it is going to be important to just stop, step back, take a breath, and just ask, what is my end goal here? Because if the end goal is hope that this is going to happen, you're actually not going to meet a positive end goal. But if you step back and say, okay, this is what I have in control right now, and I'm just going to step back and hold on to this, and just give yourself at least maybe 30 minutes to actually just sit still and just collect with yourself and say, okay, you know what? I'm safe right here. This is my safe place. I can control what's happening right now. What I can control what I do with the money and what I don't do with the money because I stopped it. But if you give the system the opportunity to just control it, then you're going to be like I like to call the rat race, paper trying to chase it, trying to chase it. And then when you lose, there's going to be a more emotional outcome on the backside because then now we got to deal with those emotions. Rather, you're like, hey, I don't feel them, I don't associate them, but your body is going to tell you it's uncomfortable. Does that make sense, Josh?
Yeah, it does. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. My husband's ex-Air Force, and I have an active duty son right now in the Army, so I'm very familiar with how the Army works. And plus, with you being a Ranger, there's a different level of training that you do go to, and it is a means of trying to eradicate feeling because there is a process that they want you to be available for. But what I want you to always know is the body is never going to not keep a score. It's going to pull from something that it knows is available. And that's what we have today is what's called emotional intelligence. Because your body is saying, hey, I remember this. I know what this is. So it's going to try to act on it. So I've seen a couple more people come in. Does anyone else want to try to introduce themselves to me?
Hi, this is Felicia. What else do we say besides our name?
It's okay. You can ask a question if you choose, and I'll write it down and I'll circle back to it if it's something that we can definitely build on in the session today.
Okay, let me think about that. I'll get back to you. All right.
Okay, no problem. Who else is here?
My name is Brian. They call me Big B.
Okay.
And, I've been hearing mindset a lot today, so I know that's what I need to work on. My mindset.
Okay. For me, that is so broad, but we'll bring it into narrow in, because I do think with from the last session and my own personal notes I gained from the last session of everyone that was in there, a mindset is really a strong area people are struggling with. So we'll definitely dig deeper into that.
Awesome. And I think there's like a little sense of fear in the back of my mind. That's what I was told. So I'm not sure, but that's what I was told.
Okay, we would definitely get into fear, because we understand from those who were here last time, we talked a little bit about fear, which leads to self-sabotage.
All right,
And then say again, I'm sorry.
I just said that's all.
Okay. Okay, anyone else?
So Dr. Harmon, this is
Yes.
Felicia again. So I couldn't think of my thing, but he reminded me of something when we're talking about. So I think my issue is limiting mindsets or deficit mindsets. I always think about I can't go on vacation because what if I need the money? I can't do this because what if? And so that limited mindset is one of the things I think is a mindset shift that I need to do. And the other thing is imposter syndrome. So even for the things I probably could do, I keep worrying about what if they find out that I really can't do it? And that goes back to the deficit mindset, right?
Absolutely. Okay. Interesting. So that is an area I definitely like to dig into a lot, because it does go into that fear mind state, which then will leave you, like I like to say, a deer in the headlight, or leave you stagnant to where you actually can't move. It's the fear of actually doing will crumble you and keep you stuck to where you actually can't even envision what the next step actually should be, even though you can see it, but you can't envision how to get there, how to make it tangible to reach. So that is, and that's when we actually loop that into the psychology of understanding not just how you operate with your money, but just how you make decisions overall in life. And when you do have that fear of how I'm going to be seen, how I'm going to be judged, or if I have enough resources or so on, a lot of people don't like to understand this word, but that does create a high intensity level of anxious thoughts. And what we like to say is OCD thoughts, where you just constantly have the same thought going over and over and over till it becomes like a revolving door. And then you will be, like I say, crippled. You cannot move. So we can definitely dig down into that, Felicia. That was actually something I took away in my notes from the first session. When we start looking at self-sabotage or the fear of the unknown, what is people's greatest fear? Or what do they feel? Like I asked the gentleman before, Josh, what do you think your outcome is going to be? And how come we can't get there to that outcome? What's your roadblock, if you will? Okay, so does anyone else want to introduce themselves and put something out there before I actually go ahead and get really deep into understanding the mind state? Okay, I'll take that as a no, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I will introduce myself to a few people that are new today. I am Dr. Harmon. I am a licensed clinical psychologist. I also do psychological testing to help not only individuals understand their strengths and their weaknesses, but also understand their personality characteristics. I also help I work with other business clientele to help their business operate in a full functional psychological healthy way. And also within them understanding how to help the others that they're helping. So when Kelvin Moody invited me to come in, it was important for me that you guys all understand that he cares about you being the most successful person that you can be, that he is willing to share every resource that he knows available so that not only you don't see him as just your coach, but that you can actually understand his investment into why he wants to be your coach. So from our last session, there was quite a bit of questions that were thrown out and statements. And so I'm grateful that the end of it, you guys have decided that it was, yeah, we need to dig into this and have this a part of our platform, because it is important. Like, people asked me last time, what does it mean to actually understand my relationship with money? What does that actually mean? Like with Felicia, she mentioned the imposter syndrome. And she used the example like, hey, I want to take in a vacation, but do I really have the money? And so once those negative thoughts actually start sitting in, then we go to that word of fear. Because then once we become fearful of a projected outcome, then we will lose control on actually how to get to that outcome. We would no longer feel like we're in control of getting there. So I would like to believe his name was Josh. And when Josh mentioned that he has like really no emotional attachment to rather losing or winning, but he also admitted that when either one happens, there's some thought about, hey, I need to start over, or what do I do from here? So it is important that you have a certain process of understanding how money works, how money is beneficial, and how money does not control your lifestyle. You control your own lifestyle with the money you get. Many of us learn money it's a form of survival. So if we're looking at money from a sense of a form of survival, it is going to lead to those perfectionist attitudes. It is going to lead to, I don't know how to stop. It is going to lead to, I'm fearful that ... And it's usually when you have family, how's my family going to understand this? Where else am I going to get the extra money from if I lose this money? So those questions start to become very important to you because we understand money as a means of survival. But how about if we looked at money as a means of something that can be earned, but it doesn't mean we survive only on money? If we were to take money out the equation, like I asked last time, I received answers that, well, how do we pay our bills, or how do we exist? Good question. How do you think you would exist without having money? Who wants to try to answer that?
How would you exist without having money?
Mm-hmm.
What instantly came to mind was how things was before money. You know, it was a form of exchange, like trade-off, so to speak, you know. You exchange, you know, I may have livestock, you may have grain, you know, that type of exchange. That's what came to mind for me. I might have gone too far, but that's what came to mind.
That's totally fine, because that was the true avenue of how people did survive, if you will. They did exchange crops, they did exchange products. So yeah, that's true. But when money came into the equation, what do you think happened to the psychology of that trading process?
I would want to say greed.
Absolutely.
A desire to have more of it because you start to understand the power of it, so to speak. So then you start to chase it, and then I guess that's where it can then play into people's like values and principles as to what they are willing to do to get it, or their
Absolutely.
experiences with it.
Absolutely. That's why I hone in and understand people's relationship with money. So when we start talking about, I want, You said I want the want of luxuries. Absolutely. Absolutely. The want of luxuries. And when we start defining our life around things that bring a life of luxury, if we will, how do you think we try to attain them? Felicia, I'm gonna pick on you. How do you think you seek to attain the life of luxury?
Hold on, hold on. Okay. So how do I seek to obtain the life of luxury?
Yes.
That's an interesting question. I don't know that I'm still trying to, because it goes back to the deficit mindset, right? Even when I have some extra money, I I don't think of it as luxury or I can do something with it. I feel like I'm supposed to hold it because of like this rainy day, or I don't want to be squanderous with it, or I was once unhoused and then all of a sudden, you don't want to be back there, right? So there's all of these sort of things that keep me from feeling like I could live the life of luxury, even, one day when I finally get there.
Okay. So who can relate to what Felicia just said? Okay. Can anyone else relate? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Someone's speaking.
I can't relate to it. However, I have to be honest and be like, hold on, let me show my face. I have to be honest and be like, you know what, Felicia? I still can relate with that. Not at this point in my life. However, but like 14 years ago, I could definitely relate to that. Why? Because one thing I learned about the mind is a game and you got to know how to play it. And the reason I say that is because, oh, I got to hit you with my favorite line. You know, I've been broke and I've been rich, and I would choose rich every single time. And the reason I say that, I got that from The Wolf of Wall Street. But the reason I say that is because, I've been in the Bronx and I'm in Atlanta, but I live in a great place in Atlanta, right? However, what I understand about the mind is when you don't have exactly what you're dreaming of and fantasizing of, that you have to become delusional and know that you will get it, you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself. That's the imposter syndrome that you're talking about. Why? Because what I tell people is, and excuse my French, if you haven't been shit your whole life and you start doing great for the next month, well, guess what? Your mind's going to beat you up. And it's going to make you compare the comparison, the thief of joy. It's going to make you compare yourself to other people and like, oh yeah, you're doing great right now, but look at this person. Look at this person. Then the universe may just bless you with something that you've been wanting, and you may come along with somebody you don't know, or maybe somebody that you do know, and they'll welcome you back into their life and they see your change, and you may start comparing yourself to them, right? It's all in the mind. It's what you do to yourself internally, right? And of course, how you grow up. So that's why I say I can relate to that. Because 14 years ago, I fell and I was like, man, I was over here doing positive affirmations in the mirror, doing this, doing that. And good things was happening in my life. However, karma still has to play its course. Karma's good and karma's bad. There's two spectrums to it, right? So since I was not shit for a while, bad karma started catching up to me. What I mean by that is I remember when I was selling life insurance. I was doing great, making great money. And then when I had to go take my test, it was like, hey, Kelvin, it's coming back that you have a warrant out for your arrest in New York for a weapons charge. And I'm like, what the fuck? This happened when I was like 17, bro. Are you kidding me? And it's just like, now I got to take care of this. However, I didn't fall in the mindset of like, gosh, man, nothing. It's always the government's this. And I said, hey, I have to take care of this. This happened back then, and I took care of it. However, I stood on the positive course saying any circumstance that shows up in my life that I don't agree with, it's not real. it's the challenge for me to continue to move forward. And now that I'm in the life that I live now, what I understand is the more you do that, the more in trading, a red day does not affect you because you can see past that. You can say, I can turn off the system. The next day is going to be beautiful. And most people will wait to that. They'll have a euphoric feeling, blow their account, and then the next day see the move that they were looking for and like, oh my gosh, and da da da, because they're not understanding that a day takes 24 hours. What happens right now, and you start to feel some type of way, you have to do positive affirmations. You have to push yourself forward. You have to look at the best of the situation. And the next day is just like, if you feel like a certain way today and you go to rest and get up the next day, you don't feel like that again. Right. So I know I was kind of long winded, but I wanted to give you that because I see you, picking at the brain, trying to find gems and answers. And I know that Doc is going to give you yours, but I wanted to give you a part of my story for you to be able to take home and apply anything that you feel that you heard from me that can help you in your journey.
Just to piggyback a little bit off of what Kelvin was saying, is why I focus a lot on the psychology of money. Because the psychology of money does change the mindset. And my position in here is not just to give you words of affirmation or to help you see the better life, but to help you understand why. The why. Why do you fall victim to whatever your body is challenging to you to fall victim to? And people don't like when I use a victim mindset, but it is a victim mindset. You are actually re-traumatizing yourself and you're re-victimizing yourself every time you get stuck. So I will want you to learn that, yes, you don't have to, but it's easy to say you don't have to. You have to know why I don't have to. What makes me be able to just, yes, stop, wait 24 hours and say, today is going to be my day, and hold yourself accountable for it to be your day. So when I said to the other gentleman about you may not understand your knowledge around trading, I'm really saying that you don't have the discipline around trading. Because as many have mentioned today, it is a sense of mindset. If my mindset is I'm going to be poor if I don't, I'm going to be if I don't, your mindset around what you're actually doing is going to be focused on that fear of if I don't, which then will cloud your judgment on how to just stand back and say, you know what, today was the most I could do today, or the most I could be produced for me today. But I'm going to stop right here and see what the rest of the day can actually offer me. But that takes discipline. And that discipline comes in when you actually understand, why am I so afraid of losing? Or why I don't feel if I win? What is the missing piece? So when we start looking at the mindset, my perspective is, yes, fear is very real. And people's fear is different from each and every person. But that fear shows up anytime I've learned with all of my clients, money gets involved. The moment we understand money as a mean of only survival, we fear never having it, which then you can't enjoy the things that you are able to have with the money you have. Like Kelvin just explained, 14 years ago, life looked different. But today, he has the success ability to actually say, you know what? I can be in control how I navigate my money. I can know when to step away because the money is going to be the money. I cannot control the stock market, but I can control how I interact into it. That is where your control comes from when you start understanding your relationship with money. That's where your control comes from, when you start being disciplined with the money you have. Because if we want to travel or we want the luxuries of life, how many people think that's going to happen in a day? Are we waiting for that one come up? That one big come up? I was reading this article. I'm a avid reader. I was reading this article about understanding people's success. What does that actually mean? What makes a person successful? How does a person know that they are successful? What comes along with a person understanding they are successful? And the article termed out most of the variables. People said success means I'm happy. Success means I can get anything I want and don't have to think about not having. That is a poor person's mind state. That's not a successful person's mind state. A successful person would never think of not having. A successful person will have the mindset I always have. I can always do. But if I fall victim of saying, oh, I know I got these extra dollars, but if I spend it, I can't control what's going to happen tomorrow. But if you hold on to it, are you still controlling what's happening tomorrow? That's something you guys have to really ask yourself. If I'm holding on to the money on the hopes of I can control what happens tomorrow, you're going to always be broke. You're going to always be chasing. But if you put yourself in a disciplined fashion and say, hey, I'm going to spend $100 today and that's it. No matter if it goes up or it goes down, that's it. You'll be able to appreciate yourself at the end of the day that I held myself accountable to be in control of what I did with my money. And that means I was successful today. Success is an everyday thing. It's not just for the moment. It's not for the future, not for the past, but success is every day. But a lot of us understand success through the lens of survival, which is a poor man mind state. You will remain poor. And if you remain poor, there's no way for you to flood your mind with the positive affirmations of, look, you did that. Look what you did today. Look how you are better today. You can never fill your mind with that because you're going to always wonder, I hope tomorrow's going to be a better day. But what if tomorrow's not a better day? How do we continue to hold ourselves accountable that we can only be in the moment of the now? And praise ourselves in the now. Because that is what success looks like. Success is what you do to hold yourself accountable and stay disciplined to control your now. We cannot control things that is not meant for us to control. Very true. Very true, London. Because if we focus on that, I don't know, has anybody read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad?
I have. That's one of my favorite books.
Okay.
You talking about the quadrant? No, I'm just being funny, but yeah.
Okay. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad, the most thing it talks about is taking your money and learning how to make the money work for you and you not work for it. That's why it's important when we invest, we know through the most important lens is your mind, is how that mind is going to control your investment. And people don't like to understand when I say the mind is heavily influenced by emotion. And those emotions are heavily influenced by life experiences. So like Miss Felicia gave an example of once upon a time, her life was challenging. Who wants to go back to a challenging life? Nobody. I know I don't.
I mean,
So when we start thinking about how do I maneuver through life when, yes, we need money, but I'm going to control how I work my money, which then on the backside helps me be in control of my emotions associated with the behaviors of what money means. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, okay, today I want to watch the trade market and not invest or not try to follow the ticks. And so, how many people have actually been still and just did that?
I'm glad you're saying that, Doc, because I say, you see, Bang Bang said a few times. I tell them this a whole bunch of times, right? And I'm glad that you said it because you never specifically told me to do that. However, you've given me so many tools and resources through us conversing where it's like, Kelvin, stay still. You already move fast. You already think fast. You need to be able to stay still. Whereas, like, I tell you guys that all the time, where it's like, hey, make it a habit where you don't trade in the stock market. Make it a habit where you just saying, hey, this week, you see, she's saying a day, just this week, I'm not trading. I'm literally going to watch the market dynamics and choose the time frames that I like to look at and see what's going on and how it moves, right? You have to observe something that you want, right? Like if you have to catch a snake, right? I'm thinking of a rattlesnake or a king cobra, just how they control them. You know what I'm saying? Or if you want to catch an animal, now I'm thinking about the crocodile hunter, how they catch animals. You have to know that animal. You know what I'm saying? He's not just gonna put his hands by the crocodile mouth, not knowing how fast a crocodile can, you know, whatever the proper term
Attack.
is, but bite at you, huh?
I said attack. Yes, same difference.
Attack, right? Attack at you, bite at you. So you have to be able to one, do the knowledge, two, have experience with it. Because once you do the knowledge of something, you have to also have experience with it. That's why you may not see a black belt, but they both know karate, but he gonna whip, you know what I'm saying? He gonna take it up a little notch on you. However, you just didn't do the knowledge and you didn't experience that there were different levels of this circumstance, right? Even level one has levels and steps within that level to get to level two. But yeah, I just wanted to add on to that.
I want to, Josh, are you still here? Okay. Um, I want you to express in your own words what you just heard Calvin say.
First, okay, title 3, people were Rona Fosmore. So her first
Josh, did you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay.
I think it's basically, even though we're still beginners, there's little levels that we've got to realize and pick up before we can actually move forward instead of just jumping right in and, trying to make it to the top.
Okay. How many people struggle with exactly what Calvin just mentioned? Being still in the moment and just observing the ticks and observing how the market is actually moving before you actually say, I'm in it. I'm in it.
I struggle with it. Now, some days I do it and I like trying to figure it out, with no money involved. But like I said, I don't do it enough.
Okay. Anyone else?
I used to struggle with it, but I learned to just don't do it, you know. But I used to just jump in something all the time, just jump in it. Like if they put out a play, I just jump in it and don't even try to look at what they seen. But now I'm just focusing on one thing right now.
Okay. Anyone else?
For me, I've been paper trading since January, so I don't actually make any form of real physical profit right now. So it's been a journey, because I guess before I would always think, oh, you've got to trade every day, you've got to take a certain amount of trades. But over this period of time, there's been times where I don't trade for a number of days, and I don't feel like I need to, and I can see how it's helped within my trading and clarity. It's like you come with fresher eyes and you're able to see things and muscle memory, and yeah, so it's definitely beneficial. But it wasn't easy to do at first.
So I want to ask everyone when he felt to be, and I'm gonna use the word impulsive, to just hop in and not take the moment to actually real analyze by visual knowledge, learning the knowledge through visual content. What was your body saying to you when you said, "Oh, I gotta get in"? What was your body saying?
Don't do it, dummy.
If I was everybody, I would answer this question because this is when she revamps your mind.
I was just saying, like, man, I could make some money. Let me try. And it never worked out. Just because you see everybody else do it, make it look so easy. And to be honest, it's not easy at all. It's easy, but it's not easy. It's easy to push the button. That's what I would say. But to know when to push the button is not easy. It's not easy to learn that.
Okay. Anyone else?
I
Billy.
would say my mind always tells me, you know what you're doing. You know this is not going to work. You know it didn't work last time, so why are you going to do it? But then there's another part of me that's like, but maybe, like, and then yeah, when it goes horribly wrong, I'm like, I should have listened to that other voice. I should have remembered my journal entry that I made yesterday when I did this exact same thing. And then it can turn into quite a negative spiral if we don't catch it.
Yeah. Bill, I do see where you said sometimes I still do, but haven't traded this week for the exact reason. What would be that exact reason?
And after that, I'm gonna pick on somebody. Bill, go ahead and unmute yourself or write back. Go ahead and mute yourself, bro. Unmute yourself. I'm gonna pick on somebody and say Big Zit. And I was just about to pick on you too, Didi. Dennis. However,
I
Big Zay,
agree, Judy.
answer that question, bro. You're 17, I believe, years old, bro.
Can you repeat the
Doc,
question for me?
Doc, I'm making sure not. I'm making sure to bring him in the group for free, and he's so scared to like answer my questions. He'd be like, "Duh, so timid." So that's why I'm picking on him so that we can really help. Like he's only 17, and
Who's
Dennis,
only 17?
Big Zay.
Okay, I'll turn my camera on. Hold on, give me a second.
Thank you,
You don't have
bro. And it's all right. I may even put the next class out for free because I know how scary it is to open up to someone and things of that nature. But I promise you guys, you start to open up and answer her questions, she's asking them for specific reasons so that she can tailor specifically to you and help you know what to master in yourself. And, if you want to take it a little deeper, you can just hit her up.
all right.
Doc, I'm gonna get with you after this call, but go ahead.
Peace.
So Big Zay is the 17-year-old. Are you the 17-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you're in this group. And I want you to understand that you're here just as much as like everyone else is here, trying to really understand their difficulties when it comes to being as successful in trading as they would like to. What are their hiccups? What are their shortcomings? So I want everyone to know that everyone here is here for a reason, and they're all here because that's a good point, Josh. It is nervousness. That's why I said it is a period of you become anxious. And what people don't realize that becoming anxious is a sense of fear. Yes. And so I want everyone, I'm just going to put the disclaimer out here. I I want everyone to know in this group that this group is about you being better and getting better. It should not, I don't want anyone to feel shamed or feel judged or feel like whatever your thoughts may be. I like the people that are sharing, and I want everyone to share because we can each learn from each other. But the fact that you have someone here that I will single out one on one, like I've done with London, I've done with Josh, I've done with Felicia. Big Mike, you're up here for me to single out, but I will single you guys out because you're saying things to me that's saying, I want help. I want to be better. I want to do better. I don't want to be in this position that I am in. And I don't understand why this is happening. So I want everyone to know that these sessions are for you to pick my brain. It is for you to get what you may think you need, even if it's good enough for the week, 2 weeks, a month, that you have an option to say, hey, you know what? Thank you. Is that 11 bang bang? Thank you. Exactly. It is a grown person's game. And know that I love what I do, and I love when people want more out of life. And I understand for being in this arena for over 20 plus years that our lifestyles related to environmental exposures can change how we move, how we make decisions. It does impact our decision making process, specifically the environments that we were exposed to, rather they were luxury environments. Like I had a client, and I'll share a client I had yesterday. She's a mother and she's married, but her husband suffers with bipolar, and so he can't keep a job. And one of the things that we talked about in her session yesterday was she was exposed to a lifestyle of luxury. She came up with money, but now she's in a marriage where she's the only worker and her husband can't keep a consistent job and they have a baby. She's so disappointed that she can't provide the lifestyle for her baby that she was exposed to. So it does challenge her about how she moves with her money. It does challenge her how the things or activities she can do with her money. So we came up with something very creative. Again, money works in a way you want it to work. We can do picnics. She was so upset that this is a week the kids are out and she couldn't take her child on a vacation. So understanding that, go ahead, shoot, Kelvin.
No, I just wanted to let them know. Because when somebody's in their flow, like Doc is in her flow, because this is her element, I want you to be able to pick up those gems. Did you hear when she said, so we created her, I forgot the next word she used, but basically a plan, a system. If you want those systems, you have to answer her questions. She's not the type of person where it's gonna be like, well, hey, book a session with me. She's gonna give it to you right then and there. She's gonna be like, look, this is what you need to do. Da 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 da. You may ask her a broad question like, how do I fix my mindset to become wealthy? She's gonna say, well, that's kind of broad. So what do you feel
I'm gonna
like with
say
money?
discipline.
You know what I'm saying? She's gonna have to go into your mind to like change something about you. So that's why I just wanted to say that. But my bad, Doc. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm always good at holding my space. But I said we came up with solutions for her so that she can feel more valuable to her position of providing a luxury lifestyle for her daughter for what her finances was allowed for her to do at that moment. I mean, we could real talk, we can be like, oh, she could have, got a second job. She could have did this, she could have did that. But at the end of the day, is that really beneficial for where she is in her life right now? Or not, is it beneficial to give her resources and the tools for what her life looks like for her right now? So that's why I'm saying to each and every one of you, I hear across the board, money is an issue. It is a significant issue on how you use it. And you're looking for a certain reward when you put it out. And we can be naive and say, right, Dr. Harmon, don't everybody want a reward when they spend money? Does everyone want a reward when they spend money? Absolutely. But what does that reward look like for each person? That's when we start looking at luxury.
And that's when you talk to me about luxury. That's when I need someone to get out of their feelings and say, hey, Moody, you know what I actually want? I want to buy some Louis sneakers. They cost about 1,200. So with tax, it's gonna cost me about 1,350. How can I get that? All right, cool. Now we know exactly what we want. Let me break that down. Hey, how quick do you want it? Is it okay if we get it in about a month? Or you know what I'm saying, we could do it in about 3 weeks. What do you and I say 3 weeks? Why? Because even though I say 2 weeks, you're gonna need some time for that money to hit your bank, right? Process. So when you're definite on what you want, man, I'm trying to buy $100,000 house. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and make a plan for that. You have to be able to tell me that or even tell her that. And I promise you, we can make it happen. I can help you become profitable. I just can't help you sustain it. I can't help you get the $100,000 house and then keep it. That's going to be solely up to you right there.
Have you guys ever heard about 40 Acres and a Mule?
No, I haven't.
Never heard about 40 Acres and a Mule. Okay. 40 Acres and a Mule has been promised for generations to Black and brown people. So the idea comes down, if I gave each person 40 acres and a mule, means I'm going to give you 40 acres of land and a mule to take care of this land. How many of us do you actually think would still have 40 acres and a mule after a year?
Not
Only a
many.
select few.
Say again.
Only a select few.
Does everyone agree with that? Only a select few?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to pick on Big B. It may be. I'm going to pick on you right now. Would you be able to have your 40 acres and a mule?
Probably not, because I never
Okay.
had that before, and I wouldn't know what to do with it. If I would have it, it'd be the same 40 acres and the same view. You know?
Okay. Who else? Felicia?
I would definitely have mine because I would be afraid to do anything with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I think Felicia and Big B kind of share the same mind state. D-Day. Is it D-Day or Day Day?
Second. Sorry, I'm out in reception and movie.
Okay.
We dinner. Yeah.
Peace, peace. His name
Okay.
is Dennis. You could call him Dennis as well, Doc.
Okay.
I'll be spot. You're right.
So I'm gonna have you type your answer and then I'm gonna read it, or people else can read it because this reception is really bad.
Yeah,
Also
it's
have
fine.
invest, then maintain the rest. That was my first thought on that. Okay, Josh. Okay. So I'm gonna say Felicia and Brian will probably be the majority of the population. They will hold on to it because they don't understand what to do with it. That's why financial literacy is so important.
What was your question, Doc? I didn't.
Sure, if I gave you 40 acres and a mule, how many people will still have it after a year?
You talking about right now? If you gave me that,
Yep.
oh, I'll put my whole family on.
And who am I speaking with?
Say that again.
Who is this speaking?
This is Dennis.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think, if you asked me this question 5 years ago, of course I would have blew it. But the Dennis today, oh, we growing that to 40 acres to 50 acres because now we know what to do with it, right? So, I think just and not to, not to talk about color, but we have to. But I think in the Black and brown community, we are we're traumatized, right? Because we have a fear of money, right? Because some of us grew up less fortunate than others, and we've been we haven't had the education of financial literacy, right? We scared to take risks. So with that fear comes indecisiveness. You're not confident. When you get money, you want to hold on to it because you feel as though this is the last money that you have, right? It's the same concept of when you go on a vacation that you can't afford. When you buy something you can't afford because you work so hard, you need to reward yourself. And because we live in a materialistic environment, society, we want it right now. We don't want to wait. We want it right now. We want to go get that Louis bag, those Gucci sneakers, that car we can't afford. We want that right now because that's in our hand. That's something we can feel. Versus we saying, okay, well, I can buy some Louis sneakers or Gucci bag or Gucci sneakers, but how about I invest in LVMH stock? The stock is way cheaper than the sneakers, right? I think it's probably maybe 900, but the stock won't give me that instant satisfaction because I have to wait. And that's the issue, right? We have to wait for your reward. And with us waiting can become uncertainty because what if it never comes? Now, if you already have a victim mindset and it never comes, now you're even more traumatized because you waited for this reward that you never got. Maybe someone told you that it was going to come, but it never came. So now your victim mindset has expanded 3 times, right? So, but I don't want to take over your session. You're doing great. You're dropping a lot of gems. This is kind of like my world. I love this talk. I got your message, Moody. I'll respond to you even though you're 6 months late, bro, but I still love you.
But it is exactly what I was saying earlier about re-victimizing yourself and re-traumatizing yourself. Understanding the impulsivity around money, how you act with it, what you do with it. So, right, if we're going to hold on to it, we become a hoarder. And that hoarder does, again, like I said, your relationship with money is geared around your exposure to it. So when we look at how do I invest money that, yes, okay, will I have it? Well, I don't have it. What if? What, how, whatever. So makes you anxious, and which then, again, yes, that fear starts to become very real. And you start to become very stuck. And when you become stuck, you become in a vicious cycle mind state of, I am a failure. I am never going to be, I can never have. And then you get stuck in that position of, yes, my only reward is to be negative. Not that you're saying that to yourself, but that's what you're digesting and convincing yourself by the stickler voices in your mind of, I can't, I won't, what happens, blah, 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 blah. You'll get stuck. Shoot, Kelvin.
All right. I just know that a client, I know you call us family and stuff like that. However, business is business. I know we have to give you permission to be able to disclose anything. So, I want to ask you for them, like some of the stuff that we're talking about, how was you able to help me when you saw the fear in my eyes when I first walked in? And it's all right. That's why I'm like, because this will help them. Because and you could talk about any aspect of it, whether it was a relationship, because we both know that it all trickles into ultimately what you're doing in any aspect of life, right? So
Absolutely.
how were you able to help me when you saw that fear in my eyes when I was walking into your office and remembering when the fear started to leave and how you pushed me and helped me understand abandonment and things of that nature. Um I'll just
Kelvin, you
leave it
gave me
there.
like 5 questions to answer.
I'm sorry, just pick one of them, Doc. I'm trying to help them.
I get it. I get it. And I'm going to answer the fear part because he did throw in the word abandonment because we are tied to our money and there is a sense of grief associated with money that people don't really like to dig into. People only think about grief from a perspective of losing a person or losing like an animal, a job, or something like that. But I've seen the highest suicide rates or the highest suicidal thoughts around individuals who lose money because there is a loss. Now, when I think about when Kelvin's came into me and started wanting to, can we go to your vending machine idea? I said to Kelvin, I said, really? Explain this idea to me, Kelvin. What are you planning now, Doc? You know, I'm not, I'm gonna get these vending machines and I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna go. Then I said, okay, so how are we gonna do this? Well, I don't know yet. But you know, I know there's money in it. I know there's money in it. And I can go to another experience with Kelvin, studio time. Kelvin working at Publix warehouse, Kelvin working in a pet warehouse. There's just different avenues. But one thing I can say about Kelvin is that he lacked the discipline, but he was open to want to learn how to be disciplined. He lacked the idea of how to compartmentalize and focus on one thing and make it his and allow it to grow to what it was going to blossom to. So the fear that he was really expressing to me is that I have the vision, I have the idea, but I don't know how to put it together to do it. So it was important for me to say, okay, Kelvin, let's structure on this right here. When he said, hey, Doc, I'm getting into trading, I said, perfect. Because you know what Kelvin has? ADHD. And I know a person with ADHD needs several things going on at a time. And I said, we finally found his niche. This is perfect. Kelvin said, well, you know, I got a family. I got a
so
wife.
scared.
He said, I got a family. I got to take care of my wife. We just got this house, you know, and I want to be the right husband for my wife, but I don't want to be no broke husband. I want to make sure my wife will never have to work for anybody again. I said, well, Kevin, how are we gonna do that? He's like, Doc, I'm here for you to help me, to tell me how we're gonna do it. I said, okay, this is what this gonna look like. Start studying, taking your notes, shadow people, get in places that are unfamiliar, get uncomfortable in those places, and understand your purpose of why you're there. Yes, he's had some bad relationships with some other people. People took advantage of his drive, his vision. Yes, that has happened. But he remained disciplined to the end goal was to not allow money to rule him, but he controlled it. He took time to study. He would study, and I would say, Kelvin, okay, we did enough studying. Let's step back today. Let's not get on the Discord today. Let's not get on the stock today. Let's just be Kelvin. Let's go out and get your nails done. Let's go get your hair braided. Let's go take a drive. Let's just step back. I don't need you to overwhelm yourself because he had the discipline to want to learn. And it did become a lot. So I said, Kelvin, what's your fear? I'm hearing another fear. I see another fear. What's the fear? As you guys learned today, never being broke. I don't want to be broke. So that fear of being broke can masticize itself into you overly being stimulated to make impulsive decisions. And we know impulsive decisions lead to a lack of negative reward. There's no positive reward to impulsive decisions. There's only negative reward. But when we sit still and we say, hey, I'm willing to take a risk, but you can still put a curtain around what that risk looks like. That risk can be like, hey, I'm going to be still today and just watch the market. That's my risk. My risk can be, you know what? Today, I'm going to go ahead and just invest $300. That's my risk. But you got to convince yourself with the acts of communication with yourself that this is what I want to do. I want to control my outcome. I want to conquer this fear of not taking control of my outcome. We already know the outcome is I'm going to put the money in there and it's going to do something. But you're more fearful by your stagnant of I'm going to be broke if I put this money in there. You was already broke before you put the money in there. So that's why I said it's a poor man's mentality. Because you ain't going to get rich by putting $300 in there. So you're already broke. So understand, and some people may not be okay with this conversation, but I'm going to tell the truth that we have a broke person's mind state because that makes us hold on to our money. That makes us hold on to it that, oh my God, the world is going to end if I. But if you be smart with the money and then invest the money in tangible ways that make sense, you're going to be rich. You will be rich. But you got to do your homework. You got to understand your craft. You got to understand why I want to do this. And it can't be because I want to be immediate, like they said, an immediate millionaire. Exactly. That's why 95% of people who hit the lottery go broke and athletes also. Exactly. Because you give me some money. Oh yeah, I'm rich now. I'm rich now. What are you rich with? You have no investment. You just have some couple million in your bank account. But what are you going to do with that money? That money rules you. It tells you how to spend it. It tells you where to spend it.
Every time.
So it's important that you understand when I'm in these markets, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to be still. I'm going to take my notes. I'm going to study it. I'm going to learn that if I put $10 in this, it's $10.
And I just want to add, in the midst of when she was talking about like my fear, I always am able to remember this and identify this, but I want to say what I learned. What I was able to identify was when she had me like, Kelvin, just study. You got this. One of the things that motivated me was her telling me about her son. However, she's very careful because she tells me, do not share your story with everybody because not everybody deserves that. So I'm not gonna ask her to share her son's story because I'm not saying you guys don't deserve that, but that's over time as you build a relationship with someone. However, when she told me about her son, it gave me motivation and inspired me. Then I came back to her and I was talking to her about my wife learning and me getting upset with sometimes she didn't want to like go through the video and learn. And this is what I learned from that. First of all, it was fear of me needing like having a crunch. And what I learned from that was you don't need an accountability partner.
Right.
You're your own accountability partner. If you choose to identify with a coach or anyone to be your partner in that
Yes.
accountability partner, I promise you, you're gonna fail every single time because when that person dies or that person no longer wants to speak to you, you're going to lose that power because that power was never yours. And even though it was, you gave it away. And you're not gonna understand how to get it back. And that person's not there to tell you, like, hey, bro, that was all you. That wasn't me. I was just trying to push you. Right. So even in my coaching program where you have an accountability partner and it's me, that's why your accountability partner seems like he's gone because you're your accountability partner and I cannot have you depend on me. I have to teach you what I know and have you swim with what I know and trust yourself. right? I just wanted to add that because I thought it was very important because you was the person that helped me identify that. And I was always looking in life, like, for a why, like maybe when I have my children, that he's gonna be my why. My child is not my why. That is my obligation in life. I chose to bring my child here. So I don't choose to make my child my why. My why is me. I am always going to choose myself because if I choose myself, that means that if no one's on this planet, I will always be happy and I will always choose to do something that makes me happy, right? So that's why I tell you, make sure to go within because a lot of people that you listen to, they're building anchors. They're building anchors and they become your anchor, and you don't want to do that. You want to create your own anchors, and that's what I was able to give from Dr. Harmon, right? I was able to anchor things into myself, believe in myself, and put things in my power, and know that with the faith that I have in God, everything will work out. That's all I wanted to add out. My bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, that's true. It's important. I was just reading one of the things. That's why you can't make money when you trade by yourself. It's important that um, we understand that you're making this decision to be better in your life. This is all you. And when I talk about discipline, I share this with all of my clients. Is that if you're not going to be disciplined, I don't want you. And the reason why I say I don't want you is because I'm gonna be working harder for you than are you gonna be for yourself. And if, like Kelvin is saying, if I'm gonna be your coach, that means I'm leading you and guiding you through the process, but you're the one that have to hold yourself accountable to show up. You're the one that's gonna have to hold yourself accountable to learn the actions that was happening in front of you. That's why I can say I'm grateful today that you guys showed up and hold yourself accountable to get just a little bit about why you may have issues struggling with trading. But I always learn that this is just a little piece of your issues when it comes to making life decisions. Your decision making process, many times of us, is based on fear. Fear of the unknown. How is it really going to go? But if you can just say, once upon a time, I did this and this was the outcome. And I'm proud of myself for doing that. That's going to be just enough for you to step out of that fearful comfort zone and step into an uncomfortable zone that you can start creating it to be safe. You're going to say, wouldn't it be nice if I could just take this trip and enjoy it and know I was already broke before I left? Wouldn't it be nice? Moody, there's a question for you.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. What question at?
It says, did you encounter problems when you said you chose yourself, Moody?
Did I encounter
Oh, wait,
problems? Yeah.
can I answer that question, Montana?
Yeah.
Are you good with me
Yeah.
answering this question?
Yes,
Yeah.
Because
You
this
yes,
is what I
answered it,
ma'am.
teach my
Doc.
clients. This is what I teach my clients. If you don't believe in positive selfishness, don't come in my office. And you know why I tell them if you don't
Like
believe in
that.
positive selfishness? Is because if I don't choose me, who is going to choose me? Who's going to choose me the way I know how to choose myself? Who's going to put me in priority positions the way I know how to prioritize myself? Who's going to tell me I'm amazing if I don't tell myself? Who is going to get out the bed every morning and put their feet on the ground and take that first step if I don't do it for myself? So, yes, positive selfishness is a big thing I teach lots of my clients. That if you don't understand your power that you possess and praise yourself for that, you'll never have a choice in the arena of other people who understand their value and their worth. You never will. So positive selfishness is very real. I'm gonna do for me before I do for anybody. And it's like, why do you say that? Because if I am great, whoever else around me is going to be great because I'm great.
That part.
If I am, this is what I tell clients that deal with people who have depression. If you're depressed and you hanging around depressed people, all of y'all depressed. So it comes down to a mindset of, yes, I'm choosing me today. I'm choosing me today, tomorrow, and every day. You better ride this wave and understand the benefits that's getting ready to come because I'm choosing me. I even choose me over my kids. I choose me over my husband. Why? Because if I don't, I'm going to wait for him or my kids to fill my life with rewards.
That
And what
part.
if that day never comes? That's where we say, oh my God, I'm not happy. Oh my God, this person doesn't make me happy. Or these kids, my kids don't. Do you realize every time you make a choice, someone reaps from that decision? That's why you have to choose you. I'll tell Moody that. I'll tell each and one of y'all, choose yourself. You have to choose yourself. We're taught as a society that if you choose yourself, you're wrong. Favorite scripture I like to use in the Bible. I don't know if how many of you guys really understand or are okay with me saying this, but I'm going to say it. God said, do unto your neighbor as you would do unto yourself. How in this God green earth am I going to do more for my neighbor than I'm willing to do for myself? How? That's why I have to choose me first. Because if I'm taking care of me, it's not going to be an issue to take care of my neighbor. If I'm feeling great, ain't going to be an issue to help my neighbor feel great. But I cannot not choose me. Did that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am. Hey, I thank you for that as well.
You're welcome. A lot of people don't get it. They're like, oh my God, you're so selfish because you're putting yourself first. Yeah, because I got to get it. I got to. Because if I don't, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting.
Well,
That's why
what
it's
y'all have to
important.
under. Oh, I'm sorry, Doc.
And
What I
I'm going to
want
say
you.
it in the end. Go ahead, Calvin.
What I want y'all to understand. Y'all can ask me the questions. It's okay. However, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like, she's in my mind. You got to understand a mindset. You know what I'm saying? How to adapt to a mindset. Since she's my therapist, whenever I'm going through something, I don't always have to call her. I just be like, "Yo, if I tell her this, how she's gonna come and tell me this?" No, she's gonna say I'm on an ego trip or I'm doing this. Let me go about it this way, right? So that's why I'm happy that she answered that question. Why? Because if it ain't her, it's gonna be my wife in my mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's just something that I learned from Prince. I keep a lot of women around me because women deal. A lot of men want to say that women are emotionals, but they're one of the ones that deal with most of the logic. We're the emotional ones. It's actually the other way around, right? We react very quickly. Man, fuck homie, man. You seen what bro did or whatever. A woman, you may think that because you may hear them gossiping and stuff of that nature, but that's them being analytical. They're gossiping to get information to understand, hey, should I be moving with this emotion and stuff of that nature? And I've been able to identify that, right? So I just wanted to add that on there. And that's why you heard her, anytime you hear her go, give you that Denzel Washington, like she about to, like, you know what I'm saying? If you a man, you come from her, you come from the woman. Don't forget where your energy come from now. That's all.
I want all you guys to everybody get a pen and paper. This is you guys' homework. You ready? Everybody ready? When was it difficult in life for me to choose myself? That's you guys' homework. Journal it. And I want you to be still with that and take your time with that. Because I promise you, you're going to identify something about yourself that you never knew. And it's going to help you understand what blocks you from being effective and a success in the decision-making process of the things that you do. And I will say this, if we're making decisions for other people, shame on you. Any questions?
That was fire, to be honest. I didn't even have a question. I was just like, you need to sit alone with that one.
Absolutely.
Can you repeat it?
The question?
Yeah.
Sure. I just want people to journal it out. It's a homework assignment. Take time to just journal it out and talk about when was a time in your life it was difficult for you to choose you.
I wouldn't say that's a difficult one. However, don't fight your mind when something arises and you're like, well, no, don't try to debate it. Write it down and go to the next one. Write it down, write it down, write it down, and then go back and read that. And then I'll give you a homework. Everybody has homework. Go on your phone, right? Because you want to understand love and energy. Go on your phone and date back 2 weeks and make sure that the people that are calling you and reaching out to you, that you're reaching out to them. And notice the people that you're reaching out to are
Oh,
not
Kelvin, we
reaching.
ain't even take it. We ain't gonna take them there, please. Don't even do it. That is, that's a lot. That is a lot.
That, that one, we'll leave that exercise for the next time.
And I'm like, oh, I hate them.
What's going on? I thought we were best friends. If you go back
Exactly.
too far, you'll see I've been the person contacting this person for about 6 months. This person never really reaches out to me. And then this time they reached out to me, they actually needed this. And that's when you start to reevaluate yourself. You know what I'm saying? Prioritize. And the reason I say that is because when you learning from someone or getting something from someone or someone is there for you and is pouring love, it could be a sibling, anybody, a friend. You tend to learn from that person and go out to the world and start showing this person this new stuff that you know and forget to pour back into that same person that was pouring into you. And then when the rest of the world doesn't accept all the beautiful things that you just showed them, you come running right back to that person. And that person is fully aware of that. And it's just like, wow, I seen you with your magic wand, but nobody believed you and nobody saw you. And now you're coming back for more. Look at your phone and make sure that you don't become that person and that you don't have a lot of those people. Because what I tell people is read that Bible and learn and internalize it because everybody has a Judas.
Hmm.
And make sure that you remove your Judas and you can be your own Judas.
I got a question for you, Moody, and just for the group.
What's up?
Do you believe the statement, who you choose to be with will be the best or worst investment you make in your life?
Do I believe that statement? Absolutely.
Who you choose to, meaning like your partner, your wife, or your husband,
will be the best or worst investment you make.
Absolutely.
Can be the best or worst investment.
Absolutely. Because
Wait. 'Cause you haven't remember. I need you to clarify your question before you answer that, Moody. What's your
okay.
question? Because he said it two different ways. What
Yeah,
is
let
your
me.
what is
Sorry,
your question?
my headphones went out. I was
Okay.
saying, who you choose to be with, like meaning your husband or your wife, will be the best or worst investment you make.
Okay, Moody,
Yeah.
I'll let you answer, then I'll answer that. Is that okay?
Yeah. Because I would like to answer it first just in case I get a different perspective from you. I agree with that, but then I don't agree with that. Why? Because if you choose yourself, you're gonna always remember, like for instance, and I'm open with my relationship, right? When I got with my wife, the reason I will agree with it to a certain degree is because I wasn't in the best place in life, and she was teaching me, and I had to learn from a woman. I had to learn from her, right? And she was the one that I was choosing. She was my interest, so my mindset got better. So now that I'm saying that is a give and take. That's if both of you align, actually. Why? Because the only reason we continue to keep catapulting is when I met my wife, bro, I was in the street. I was a drug dealer, bro. I was outside just doing whatever I was doing. My wife was pulling up in Beamers and in Georgia State, right? I was out there bragging about that she's gonna be a corporate lawyer. And she was the one that helped me understand, like, bro, you know how ugly you look? Like, bragging about me? You need to be bragging about yourself and what you got going on. And she got me to start working and getting into like school and education. However, it got to a point where she did all that for me. And with my mindset, me being an entrepreneur, she just made me better, right? So now that I got into this level, right? And not saying that my wife is not an entrepreneur, now I had to start pouring into my wife so that my wife can catapult. And as I did that, she was on a different level and I was able to learn from her. So I don't agree with it. It depends on your mindset. If you're not a breadwinner, but you know that you're always going to choose growth, you're going to grow. However, it really depends on your emotions because no, I don't agree with that statement because you got to choose yourself. If you choose yourself, it doesn't matter if you love that woman. I only can speak from a man perspective. If that woman is not nurturing your God mindset, she's the mother earth. You're not going to reap good things. You're going to fall. And it's up to you to say, we need to create distance because even if I try to be this newfound person for you and you can't submit still, you have to be able to know when to choose yourself. So now I don't agree with that. I want to know what my therapist thinks though.
My dogs are barking. Someone rang the doorbell. I'm sorry, guys. Can you guys hear my dogs barking?
No, dog, you know how big. Shut up, Moody.
Um, so I'm going to answer it from a psychological perspective and also kind of narrow in what Kelvin is saying. I'll say it from this way. Yes, your partner can be both. And the reason why the partner could be both, it is where you are in your life when it comes to your partner. So for example, if you are not in a teammate, meaning we're teammates in this relationship, they're gonna always see what they say to you or how they try to encourage you or how they try to see your life through a different lens. You're gonna take it as a negative way, which then that makes them worse in your life. Now, them being the best decision in your life depends again how you describe them being a teammate in your life. Because if a person you choose as your partner, your spouse, you're choosing them for a reason. And 9 times you choose them because they don't have the same qualities you have, which means that when you're at your worst, they're at the best. And when you're at the best, they're at their worst, which means relationships are give and take. When I'm good, my husband may be down and I can pour into him. When I'm down and he's good, that means he can pour into me. So yes, I do believe they can be your worst or your best decision. So it all depends. That's like with any relationship you go into. Anybody you have a relationship with, you have to look within yourself and say, what are my weaknesses? What are the things that I lack that I know this person actually has a strength in? And that's what makes relationships good. What happens is when people take people's strengths and use them against them, that's what makes the relationships bad. Does that answer your question from my perspective?
Yeah, definitely. Both great statements, Moody. And also, yeah, I just wanted to get, you guys' opinion on it because it kind of aligns to the last statement that Moody made about looking in your phone and see if the same people you're calling, they're calling you back because you can be married, you giving all of your energy, all of your positivity, all of your love away, and not receiving the same or not receiving anything back, right? So hold on. So, someone, it could be a friend, it could be your husband or your wife, sucking energy from you, right? So that person, whether it be whoever you choose, whether it be friend or wife, that's an investment you made into that person. And when I say investment, I don't want people to think financial investment. I want to think life
it is.
investment.
Oh, no, it is.
It
It is a
is.
financial investment. We can be real about
Yeah.
that. It is a
Yeah,
financial
that's true.
investment.
I didn't want to say it that way, but I mean, if you
It's an
understand it,
emotional investment.
yeah,
It's a physical investment. It's a spiritual investment.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, my wife asked me what was my credit score when we first started dating. I found that so weird.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, I'm gonna
that's a society type thing. I think,
yeah.
that's a
So
whole different conversation.
Yes. So I'm going to conclude myself for today. Does anyone have any more questions for me?
Hey, Doc, because I'm just looking at the time. I know we don't
I
have no sense
know
of
it's
time, and I'm like,
okay.
oh my God, oh wow, it's
Look
literally about to
down.
be
Yes.
6.
Yes. So if anyone has any questions for me, you can reach out to Calvin and Calvin can shoot it to me.
Doc, is
And
it okay if I create you a channel and put all your information, how to contact you and things of that nature like there, so it's like they know where to find you, like in the
sure.
Discord?
Yeah, that's fine. He's trying to force me, y'all. He's trying to force me.
That's why I said it
You're
live, y'all. You
funny.
see?
Okay. I'm always welcome. Like, if you guys need, and I really would like, honestly, for when we meet again, I know this is about money, but I'm okay switching to more personal things if you guys are good with that. And if that's something you guys want to switch to, I'm totally okay with that. Just write down a question or two that you may have been struggling with, and you just need a deeper insight or a way to navigate it a little bit more. Okay?
And look, this is what I'm gonna say. If y'all want her to get more in depth and switch things over and talk about money, but talk more in depth and more personal, drop some fires in the all access of the Discord. And what I would do is, depending on how many reactions we have, because she was gonna be coming once a month, I'll see if she's available towards the end of the month, because I think we got 2 more Fridays, and see if she could come back by the end of the month. So that's y'all go ahead and react into all access and let us know how you like the class and if you like her to get a little bit more personable. And if so, if there's a good bit of reaction, we'll make sure to hire her back so that she can be back because she does have a busy schedule. Thank you for sharing. You already know. Yeah. Thank you so much, Doc.
All right. You're welcome. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Likewise. Peace.
All
Peace,
right.
everybody.
You too as well.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.